All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to you true brothers of the true house of David. And, as we see more and more of these signs come to pass, and we're pretty much at the end. We only got a few more prophecies to look out for, which is pretty much the vaccines, all right, the RFID microchip, and pretty much the race wars, and Yahushua coming back, and Lord willing, we get delivered out of these coming perils, man. But even before that, the scriptures talk about the Lord is going to sift the house of David from among all nations. So there's a sifting process going on in this truth, and Lord is constantly sifting. He's constantly making things happen, because this truth is not a walk in the park, nor is it going to be a straight path. There's always going to be different turns and different events, and as the Lord said in Ecclesiastes, there's a time and a season for every purpose under the sun, and we're in the time to refrain from abrasion. So you're seeing a lot of things happening, and a lot of men are getting offended. Now, what's happening right now is what's on God's mind is this whole topic about calling Esau E. Now, I stand with what I said in the beginning. All right, we stand with the scriptures. Clearly, Revelation chapter 22 said, if you take away from the scriptures, the Lord's going to take away from your name from the book of life. The scriptures say that. And if you're against that, then you're against the Lord and you're against the scriptures, man. So we as the true believers, and we that are, putting up this fight, against Satan, against all the wicked, against Esau, Edom, and against the wicked of our own people, man, picking up this Bible, this is a spiritual war, and the Lord is going to avenge us. You see, because these guys, they want you to get carnal. Satan wants you to get carnal. All right? Satan wants you to get personal. This thing is all spiritual. And we all understand that this truth that was given to us is not our truth. It's the Lord's truth. And these spirits that are back here today picking up the Bible, many of them are the ones that actually slain the Lord and actually killed the prophets. And the only reason why they're picking up this Bible is because they're attached to it for not a good reason, not because they were the prophets coming back, because the ones that slain the prophets. Now, we that can see and we that are in the spirit, this thing is all spiritual, and the Lord will avenge us. The Lord will avenge us, man. We don't even have to lift up a finger, because when you look at the different stories with David, before David could become king, David was chased by the house of Saul. And through that whole period, Saul was constantly trying to thrust David through for javelin. All right, Saul was constantly chasing David to the point where Saul was being fought against by these different nations, but he left his own warriors to go and chase David. That just lets you know the spirit that he was in. He was in a murderous, envious spirit, man. And he wanted to get David out the way. But David was being moved by the Spirit of the Lord. And the many times that David had a chance to kill Saul, the Spirit had him not do it. You see what I'm saying? Because the Lord was going to avenge David. This is 1 Samuel chapter 24 and verse 8. David also arose afterward and went out of the cave and cried after Saul. Right, and this is during the time where David and his mighty men were hiding in the caves. And Saul, he was constantly chasing after David. All right, so it said, my Lord, the king, and when Saul looked behind him, David stooped with his face to the earth and bowed himself. And David said to Saul, wherefore hearest thou a man's words, saying, behold, David seeketh thy hurt. Behold, this day thy eyes have seen how the Lord hath delivered thee today into my hands in the cave, and some bade me to kill thee. But my eyes spared thee, and I said, I will not pour forth my hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. All right, so it says, moreover, my father, see the skirt of my robe in my hand, for in that I cut off the skirt of thy robe and killed thee not. Know thou and see that there is neither evil nor transgression in my eyes, because in this truth, there's going to be many guys that are going to feel some type of way, and things are going to happen where men are not going to see eye to eye. I don't see eye to eye with a lot of guys. That doesn't mean that I'm not right. You see, if it's pursuant to the doctrine and it's coming out the scriptures, you see, but you don't see eye to eye, that means that you're wrong. So with this whole thing going on with, calling Esau who he is and taking out the scriptures, if it's coming out the scriptures, there ain't no rebuttal. There ain't no saying this, that, and the other, man. It's you're taking out the scriptures, repent from that, and don't do it no more. You see? But we understand that the majority of these dudes are actually against who the Lord has actually set up. They're actually against the spirit. So all we can do is just let them know what they're going off on and actually rebuke them, and the Lord will avenge us. You see? We don't have to get personal or anything like that. All right? Because what happened to the end of Saul? Let's go ahead and get this precept real quick. Let's see. All right. Hey, Salakia. I had a guy come up to me and, asking all these questions. But this is 1 Samuel chapter 31 and verse 1. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, Saul's sons. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him. And he was sore wounded of the archers, right? So pretty much all the household of Saul, they got hit. All right, even Jonathan that was helping out David. You see, because the Lord was with David the entire time. Now, that entire time that Saul was pressing hard upon David, David was given the opportunity to slay Saul. You see, and the Lord actually refrained David from doing that. Why? Because the Lord said, "I'm gonna get him for you. I'm gonna get him for you. Don't let me worry about it. Don't let me lift up a finger. I'm gonna fight for you." You see, that's what the Lord has in mind for His house, for you true believers that actually believe, for you brothers that actually believe in this thing. That's what the Lord is gonna do. We don't even have to lift up a finger. All we have to keep doing is doing the work. All right, keep preaching the truth, not taking anything out the scriptures, and then guess what? The Lord will fight for us, man. You see, it's a beautiful thing. You see, so you brothers out there, that guys hate us. I always just say that guys hate us for no reason, just because they can't take a little reproof, but that's all right. You see, we're not gonna get personal with them. We're not gonna get carnal with them. We're just gonna keep it spiritual. You see, and the Lord ultimately will fight our battles, man. Now, there's another example that I want to grab. Let's go ahead and go to the book of Esther, because a perfect example was Haman. Now, the whole thing with Haman was he hated Mordecai because Mordecai would not bow down to Haman. You see, Haman was in the mindset of having everybody bow down to him. You see, because the king made a order that all shall bow down when they seen Haman. But Mordecai actually held his integrity. He stood upright. You see, this is Esther. Let me see if I can find that precept. I know that it's in Esther chapter. Let me see. All right, Khan. All right, yep. All right, Esther chapter 7 and verse 9. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 5 to get that whole point. Because what Esther did was, Mordecai pretty much told her, you better tell this king, or if you don't tell this king, guess what? The Lord's gonna deal with you, man. You see, because she was in a position to do right. You see, and I could say this: if you're in a position where you're being looked at, and you know what's right, and you still take the sides of the wicked, and you still go against what the Spirit is saying, the Lord's gonna deal with you, man. The Lord's gonna deal with you. All right? Because this thing ain't about trying to have everybody love you and everybody accept you, man. This is about what the Lord is saying. This is the Lord's truth. And the man that the Lord is using to speak the truth, guess what? Nobody's going to like that. You see? Nobody's going to like that, man. Because this thing has turned into a respect of persons. Understand what the Spirit is saying. Esther chapter 7 and verse 4. Let me start at 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at thy petition, and my people at thy request. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondman and bondwoman, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, Who is he, and where is he, that dares presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, The adversary and the enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen, right? Because he got called out. All right. Esther said, "It's this goddamn demon right here that wants to kill Israel." All right. Now let's see what happened to Haman, because what the Lord does to his men, he always avenges his men. All right. Esther chapter 7 and verse 10. It says, So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. That's right, man. So ultimately, the Lord avenged Mordecai, and he avenged Esther and all Israel. You see, he preserved Israel, man, so that they could not be destroyed. So it's actually a beautiful thing that what the Lord does. The Lord actually fights our battles. All we have to do is continue to preach his work. All right? Hear what the Spirit is saying, brothers. You see? Okay, we're on the winning side. See, what carnal man don't understand is the Lord only uses a few to confound many. You see, because in the eyes of men, things may look, things may look different in the eyes of men, but in the Spirit, things are completely different in the Lord, man. That's what we're dealing with. You see? So the Lord is fighting our battles for us, man. Now let's go ahead and go to, I believe that's in Hebrews, if I'm not mistaken. Romans, okay. Romans chapter 12 and verse 19. It says, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. Right? You see? Because these guys that come against it, they're carnal. They're carnal. They have a personal vendetta. You see? All we have to do is keep it spiritual, and the Lord will fight for us, man. You see? Because what did the Lord say? The Lord said he's going to avenge his elect. Luke chapter 18 and verse 7. And shall not the Lord Yahweh avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? He's going to find faith within this man. All right? He's going to find faith with the afflicted, the meek, the humble. You see? The ones that are actually hated for speaking the truth, man. That's why the Lord said this path is a very lonely and narrow path, and there's many pitfalls, man. You see? Why? Because if the Lord actually set us up to do what we're doing. And because the Lord said, if he speak my words faithfully, you're going to see all the haters, you're going to see all the fakes, you're going to see all those that don't believe. Yet, with us knowing that, we understand that vengeance comes from the Heavenly Father, and he's going to avenge us. You see? So it's actually beautiful, brothers. Just keep that in mind. And, just like when Job was going through that, and that little, what was his name? One of his friends said, I have held my peace for a while, I will now speak. And ultimately Job was righteous. And the Lord gave unto Job everything that he desired at its latter end. You see? But at the beginning, he took everything from Job. All right, so, just something to consider through the Spirit. I'm going to go ahead and end it off on there. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Stay strong, Gabarium, and keep fighting, man. Good. There's not going to be anything or no one that's going to stop the charge of the Lord's elect. All right, it's going to be on to the next one. Hey, Shalom.